Hey, you guys, we're live. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. I cannot believe it's finally my turn. I'm super excited. So, as you guys are coming in, today I'm actually going to give a little bit about my background. I am going to talk about what I did as a new coach to get that instant feeling of success. And once I hit diamond, I'm going to actually go over some of my frustrations that I've had. So hopefully you guys will get something from today's call and will walk away feeling inspired. So that is always my personal goal when I, go live on my Facebook or, share with my team. Hi, Lori. I just want people to leave my presence feeling inspired. So I hope that happens as I'm talking today. So you guys, a little bit about me. My name is Heather Tucker, and I basically have a very, very long history with Beachbody. I was 235 pounds about 5 years ago. I have 3 boys. They're now 20, 17, and 11. And after my youngest is when I put on the most amount of weight, and I tried everything. I could not take the weight off. I just couldn't shake it. I actually had a little over 100 pounds that I knew I needed to lose. And so I tried everything under the sun, from Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, low sugar, no sugar, Suzanne Summers, I don't know, you just name it, Advocare, Herbalife. I tried so much stuff because I was not comfortable in my frame because I wasn't used to it. And so I was trying everything that I could to just take this freaking weight off, and nothing was working. I was left feeling very frustrated and depressed, dealt with, panic attacks all the time. I just didn't want people to see me. I was totally scared that somebody from high school would run into me and they would be like, "Is that you, Heather?" I was so scared of that. So I pretty much avoided people when I was heavier. So that was an 11-year period. I went through that. But this one day, I was sitting on the couch, just eating this big ass bowl of cake and ice cream, and scrolling through the TV, and all of a sudden, Chalene Johnson popped up on one of those infomercials, and she was doing Turbo Jam, and she had the biggest smile on her face, and I'm like, I need that back. I need my happy back. I need to find myself again. And so I ordered that program off the TV in 2007. From 2007 all the way up to 2014, I ordered Beachbody Fitness off the TV. So T25, Insanity, Turbo Fire, all of the ones that you guys could possibly think of that came out back then, I was ordering them and I was using them at home. And they did definitely help me to lose that 100 pounds. And so I became very addicted to Beachbody Fitness. And it's kind of funny because I remember on some of the later videos, the ones that came out closer to 2014, I actually remember the advertisements for Shakeology. And I remember thinking, oh my God, please fast forward, fast forward. I was so anti-shake because I had tried so many other shake programs out there. I just didn't want to have any part of it. So I was fast forwarding those things all the time. So in 2014, around that time, for about a year before 2014, so 2013 to 2014, I actually wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I was in corporate America all the way 20 plus years in sales, forever, right out of high school until I guess it was 2012 or 13. And I just knew I wanted to come home with my kiddos. I was so sick of somebody else raising them and me paying for daycare and me feeling disconnected from them. When I would go to pick them up, they'd have all these amazing stories about, oh, we did this today, and Jamie taught me how to tie my shoes and all this stuff. And I'm like, guilty. I'm so guilty. Like, I just was living in guilt and shame all the time. I felt like I was sucked as a mom. And so I really, really wanted to come home with them, but I couldn't really see, a way to do it. And so I did start searching out at home work so that I could, maybe do that. But so many of the ones that I looked at just kind of seemed like a scam or whatever. And so, and then of course I would talk to my friends and they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're going to get screwed over. They just want your money. So I was always hearing stuff like that. So it took a lot for me when I decided to jump into network marketing in 2013, I think it was, with a jewelry company. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Cookie Lee. Maybe someone can comment. It used to be called Cookie Lee. Now it's called Be Vivi or something like that. But I went to my first home party and I really liked the jewelry. And so I decided to, buy some. And then of course, oh, you could get more if you host a party. And I'm like, what's that? And, they explained the whole thing. So I became addicted to like going to home parties. And ordering stuff because I had never heard of that before. And I did become a consultant with Cookie Lee. I was actually with them for about a year. And while it was good, it wasn't great. Sorry, I'm gonna take my glasses off. So it basically took me away from my family even more. Because what would happen is, I'd go to these home parties, right? And then you book the home parties and then you have to go and set up. So you're going an hour before and then you're staying an hour after. So I was, my husband and I were like this. Like he would come home and I would be leaving and he'd leave really early in the morning to go to work. So I was barely connecting with him at that point. Another thing too is I would do a lot of vendor events on the weekends. And so that meant me recruiting my family to help me set up the big tent that I had a hard time setting up because I'm so short. And it was very difficult for me. So it meant like having to involve them, and I could tell how frustrated they were. And they were pretty much living in like resentment with me for a whole year, although they wanted to be supportive, but they were having a hard time with it because it wasn't their thing, it was my thing, and why are you involving me when I didn't sign up as a consultant, and that was kind of my husband's thing. So I was feeling guilty, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be something better out there than this. Like, there's got to be a different opportunity out there that that I could still be at home with the kids, but not have to involve my family and be gone for long hours of time. And so around that time, so now we're in 2014, I was just scrolling through Facebook like most of us do, and we run across our coach that's super positive and always talking about fitness and loving what they're doing and showing their checks and showing them staying at home with their family. And that's what my coach, Anita Myron, was doing. And along with that, what really connected me with her was the coach, oh God, now I forget what they're called. The webinars where you invite people to, like a coffee chat or business opportunity webinar. So I reached out to her and said, hey, you're posting all this stuff about fitness. I recognize the trainers that you're showing because I have this big background of working out with them already at home. Like, what is this about? And so she was like, oh, it's Beachbody Coaching. And I'm like, what's that? So she had to explain it to me. Well, come to find out, you guys, and this is like a little side tip, I didn't realize that I had my own coach from 2007 up to 2014. No idea. No idea, because that person never reached out to me to thank me once for my purchases. So I just want to give you a real quick tip that when you guys get those emerald leads and you're getting the free money and everything, please reach out to your people and just thank them. It doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. It just needs to say, you know, I'm your coach. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. If you sorry, trying to connect. If you need advice, you know, I'm here. So please reach out to the people that buy from you. Because you never know, you could find another me out there, you know, and that's what I always think. Like, there's people out there right now that already love Beachbody Fitness, and so why not, you know, reach out to them and thank them. You don't know if they're going to turn into a coach. So that's pretty much what happened to me. I visited with Anita's webinars. It took me about 2 to 3 times of me watching her webinars. But what connected me to her, because I did have another coach that was hounding me and inviting me, but she was always cussing on her page and complaining, and I didn't need that in my life. Anita, on the other hand, was very positive, and during her webinar and her story, she was always talking about God and how, you know, she was just very open about God, and that was really important to me, to work with somebody that understood my faith and you know, that might be open to praying about stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? So it just connected me to her, that she was very open about her faith. So I basically went to her, knew I wanted to sign up, came in with T25, and she gave me everything that I needed, but I am a perfectionist, huge one. And so when I'm given too much information, I go into like this overwhelm feeling, and I tend to kind of feel anxiety, and I tend to pull back and not go like forward, because like until I understand what I'm doing, and then I will move forward. So for me, when she said, okay, like here's the welcome email, so she sent me the welcome email, I started following her steps that she told me to do, and you know, she set up the one-on-one call with me. We went over, you know, the goals, although at that time I honestly didn't know what my goals were. I'm like, I just want to help people, and so she was trying to like delve in, like, well, what does that mean? You know, like, I'm like, I don't freaking know. I just want to help people, you know? So sometimes you just don't know what your real goals are until you start working the business and you see what's possible. And that's pretty much what has happened with me. So don't get frustrated when you're on those one-on-one calls. And, you know, you're talking to your coaches and they don't know, you know, what to, say to you when you ask them what their goals are, because sometimes it's just hard for a person to get it out, you know, of them. So they kind of have to work through it on their own. But it took me 3 times of going through Coach Basics before I understood what I was doing. But in Coach Basics, even the first time when I was in Coach Basics, I still applied what I was learning, because Anita told me, you know, here's what it looks like to be a successful coach. And I, from the very first start, wanted to be a successful coach. I wanted to hit success starters, because that meant that I could meet all these trainers that I had been working out with since 2007. For 7 years, I was connecting with these trainers in my house, and I already felt like I knew them and I loved them, and I just wanted to meet them. I wanted to like hug them and say thank you for saving my life. And so that meant something to me when she said, if you hit Success Club your first 3 months, that you can earn your free summit ticket. And so I found out what that meant, and I put my head down and did the work, and I hit it. So I was able to go to my first summit last year, which was amazing, by the way. Also, what that did for me is in my first year, it got me used to hitting Success Club, where I just kept doing it, you know, because I'd formed the habit, and I'm like, this is easy. If I did it my first 3 months, I can just keep doing it. And what that did was it helped me earn the Success Club trip that year. So I came in May, like the middle of May, and I hit it like 2 weeks before everyone was going to go. They pulled me off the waiting list. So it's never too late to like go on the trip. You just have to make sure you're consistent at hitting Success Club. So After, I think it was month 2 or 3, I want to say, I was like, I want to see what I can do in this business as far as my numbers go. So remember, if you guys have been on with me since the beginning, I have been in sales for a long time. And in my sales career, I was always at the top. And so I was like, I could probably push myself more than just Success Club 5. Because I kind of felt like 3 people wasn't enough anyways. Like I wanted to make a huge difference in people's lives. So my first month, I was Success Club 5. My second month, I was like Success Club 7 or 8 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, if I can do 8, I can do 10. So I pushed for 10. I hit 10, but I didn't just hit 10, I hit 12. So then it just kept going up from there. I think my highest Success Club month so far was, I think it was last February, which was Team Cup month. I think I got 42 points or something like that. So that's my biggest month. I haven't ever done that since then, but I know I can. It's just, how much work do you want to put in? I didn't see my family a lot that month. But I'm very comfortable with getting, helping between 10 and 15 people a month. So my Success Club numbers are normally like Success Club 20 up to 30 or around there. So I'm very comfortable with that. If I go up higher, that's, totally awesome. Looking at my notes. Oh, okay. So as far as the coaching thing goes, and helping other people become a coach, that was actually scary for me. I didn't really want to be known as this person that, was bugging their family and friends to sign up to be on my team, because I was already part of a network marketing company with the jewelry before this. And the way that they taught us to recruit was so gross compared to how we do it now. Like, I didn't want to be that person again where I was putting up, okay, let me give you an example. And if any of you guys are unique presenters on top of Beachbody, I'm really sorry if I'm about to offend you, but if you see any unique presenters out there, the way that they recruit, they do talk about their story, but they are always talking about their $99 package and what it comes with, and they post about it like 2 or 3 times a day. That is what I was doing when I was with the jewelry company, and I never got any likes or comments on those. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of my high school friends take me off as their friend, because I'm sure they were very sick of me recruiting like that. So when it came to Beachbody, and I was told that to be a successful coach, you need to build a team, because you can't just do it on your own. That made me very scared. And so I did not talk about the coaching opportunity as an invite. So in other words, I didn't do any coach sneak peeks. I didn't do any webinars. I didn't do any, I'm looking for 10 women to join my team. Like, I didn't do any of that stuff until probably almost I want to say at my 8 or 9 month point, maybe almost a year. I don't know. It took me a long time to finally, realize, okay, Beachbody is different. They're more about relationships. So I can post about the opportunity a little bit different and relate it to how, I can stay at home with my kids and, that kind of stuff, instead of, oh, the kit's on sale for $99. Like, I just didn't want to do that. So it took me a long time to get that courage up. So what I started to do, and I know you've already heard this from other coaches. There was a girl the other day that talked about this. But in the process of getting a challenger signed up, I will always ask what option they want. And I will give them the option, 1 or 2. And I will say, here's what number 1 option is. Here's what number 2 option is. Here's the benefits. which one do you want? And more times than not, I will get people signing up as a coach with their package. So that has really, really helped me to start building up my team as far as getting coaches underneath me, to get up to, different ranks and things. Now, to get to Emerald, what I did was I did sign up my husband. So he's on one leg, my weak leg. And then, so that was actually pretty easy. And if you haven't done that yet, I would totally do it because you don't know what your coaches are going to do. And so it's nice to have someone at the top that you can control their account. So you can actually add challengers and coaches over there and be more in control. So if you can put 2 people that you know at the top, mom, dad, husband, brother, whatever, that actually is a really good idea. And I wish that I had known to put 2 like that, because I think it probably would have helped me a lot more. But I didn't, because I didn't know. So I just basically put my husband on one, and then another gal that I'd met online on my other leg, and that helped me to hit Emerald. Then, of course, I met some other people as I was starting to talk about coaching more, and they wanted to, build also. And so it took me, though, because I was so apprehensive to talk about coaching, because I let my fear rule my everyday move. Like, I let it rule how I was posting, what I was talking about on my social media, the times of day. I don't know. Sometimes I posted on purpose in the beginning of me talking about coaching. Like, you always hear 8 o'clock is like the best time to, to post about your, invites to challenge groups or whatever. But on purpose in the beginning, because I was so scared, I actually would wait until like 10 p.m. when maybe not that many people would be on, just to get me used to, posting about it. Because it was kind of like one of those baby steps, that I did. So, but, once I got comfortable, it did take me, it was about a year, at my year point when I hit Diamond. So I wasn't, this fast recruiter or anything like that out the gate. I was, I beat myself up over it. I really did. I would get so mad at myself for not being where other coaches that joined at the same time with me or before, or even after me, they were growing faster than I was. But what I really learned through personal development, and this is why I think personal development is so important, is you really get to know who you are and why you do things when you read personal development. I feel like I'm learning more sometimes in my personal development than I do when I go and see my marriage counselor with my husband, because depending on the book that you are reading, like, you really will discover, like, oh dang, like I'm self-sabotaging myself, or I have a scarcity mindset, or different things like that, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that about myself. And then you have something to work on. So that's kind of where I was to get to Diamond. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about as far as hitting Diamond is I kind of had it in my mindset that once I hit Diamond, I had arrived. And in the beginning, when I was in the Push to Diamond trainings, it kind of was talked about like that. Like, Diamond is the end all. Diamond, they didn't say that, but the way that they talked in the training was, Diamond's it. Like, you're going to feel like you've arrived, and people are going to look at you differently. And, some of that is true, but I did not realize that once I hit Diamond that I could lose Diamond. So when I found out that one of my coaches was going through some life stuff, which is understandable. I mean, we can't control what happens in other people's lives, right? But when I found out she was going through some life stuff and that she was going to take a step back from her business, she lost rank, and that dropped me from diamond back down to emerald. And when that happened, I cried for days. I reached out to my upline, who again is Anita Myron, and I told her about my frustration and how could this happen, and I don't understand. What did I do? I didn't think I could lose rank. I thought once you earn it, you earn it. And I was so upset that I had to take a step back from the business for a couple of days and regroup myself, because at that time I had to really ask myself, is it worth the work that you're putting in to get new coaches, to train them, with the possibility that once they pop into different rank and you also pop into a higher rank, that you could potentially lose that. So I needed to get real with myself and ask, is me continuing in the business where I'm helping people worth, as I'm building, to lose what I have built and to sometimes feel like you're starting over? So it took me a couple of days to answer that question. It was a really hard one, especially coming from a person like myself who has been in sales for years, over 20 years, you guys. I've been in sales a long time. And so I always only depended on myself to get to my high numbers. I never had to depend on other people to get me there. I never had a team that I had to depend on to get me to where I wanted to go. And so that, if anything out of this entire business has been hard, that is what has made it hard, because, God has given me this big vision for my team. And I totally, I can cry about it, because I see us being in the top, and I see us being, talked about. I see us walking across stage and people clapping at Summit. I see all that stuff, but it's not happening as fast as I would like, and I can't control it. The only thing that I can control is what I'm doing. And that is a sign of a good leader, is that you just keep doing the behaviors of what you want your other coaches to do, so that they eventually will have that light bulb thingy click, and they will run with it too. But the timing of that is not yours. The timing of that is theirs. And that has been the hardest freaking pill to swallow. I hate it sometimes. I really do. I hate it. But, there's nothing we can do about it. It's how corporate has, things set up. And so if we really want to continue in this business and to be that influencer, with our team, and inspiration to our team, we have to show them that we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up on ourselves and our own dream of, staying at home with our family and making money for ourselves and our family. We're not going to give up on them. We're going to be available when they're ready to pop back in. I mean, it's so important to continue to love on them and, to not give up on them. It really, really is. But at the same time, and this is what I'm learning, is that you have to learn ways to talk to them to not, trying to think how to say this, to not be okay with their excuses. You know what I mean? Like if a challenger comes to you and they say, Heather, I tried the shake for 3 days, and I just don't like it. I'm going to send the whole package back. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry it didn't work for you. I appreciate you trying it. Let me know if you ever want to try it again. I mean, is that how you're going to talk to them? Seriously, ask yourself that. If a challenger came to you, are you going to allow them right away to return their package because it didn't work for them after 2 or 3 days? Or are you going to try and work through it with them? Are you going to try and figure out, well, how have you been making your Shakeology? What are you putting in it? Let's see if we can try and make it taste better. Let's see if we maybe just need a new flavor, It's kind of the same thing. Like with your coaches, if they come to you and they're feeling frustrated and they want to quit the business because it's not happening for them as fast, like as a leader, you cannot let them easily walk away from their business. You need to keep very good notes about why they even started in the first place and what their goals are, same with your challengers. And you need to remind them, like, hey, when we first talked, you said that you wanted to leave your full-time job and stay at home with your kids. Like, were you not serious about that? Because if you are, it's going to take some work and dedication on your part to keep going, even if you're feeling frustrated. So you do have to, kind of take that step of being a leader and trying to salvage or save what they're pulling back on. So that's what I've had to learn to do. So let me see. Okay, so another thing that I had to do was I had to stop only talking about challengers or challenge groups, Like I had to stop only inviting to challenge groups because that's what I was doing for a long time. And again, I didn't start talking about the coaching opportunity until almost a year. So if you guys can do the one leg up thing on all of us, I know a lot of us have said this already. Start as soon as you can inviting to your team because if you wait, it's just going to take you longer to get to the rank that you want, which we're all pushing to diamond, right? So if you really, really, really want it, you're going to have to buckle down and put the work in. As leaders, we cannot do the work for you. We can't. It's just like most of us are moms, right? We can tie our kids' shoes for the entire time they're alive, but is that going to teach them how to tie their own shoe? I mean, at some point, you have to let your team go. Like you have to give them what they need and stop doing it for them. You need to give them all the tools and say, run with it, get creative. It's okay to do your own thing. Just keep the base, but still get creative and allow your own personality to come in because that's going to allow them to grow and become leaders themselves. But if we're always tying their shoes for them and giving them everything and, another analogy or whatever you call it about this is like mama birds. You know how they like eat the food, they swallow it, they barf it back up and they put it into their babies' mouths, right? Because their babies can't chew yet or whatever. I don't understand birds. I just know that's what they do to feed their newborn. So, you might have to feed your newborn for a little bit in the beginning, but you do need to kick them out of the nest, so to speak, at some point. And you need to let them know that they are an adult with their own mind and they can go and find information by themselves and that they can run groups by themselves. I mean, you have to give them that confidence, though. You can't just be, oh, we'll keep running groups together forever. You know what I mean? Like you have to give them the opportunity to lead. So that's my main point is you guys are awesome. Just so you know, I'm going to go back to the questions. So if you have any, just go ahead and type them in and I'll answer them at the end because I can scroll back up. Okay, so like I mentioned to you, I had to take steps. So this is basically what I had to decide. Okay, I was tired of attracting coaches that were not business builders, okay? And so I went through 2 or 3 months where I was reaching out to Anita, like, what am I doing wrong? You know, I'm talking about coaching, nothing's happening, and all that kind of stuff. And so what I learned, and this is, you know, from advice from several different top coaches that I know in person, and I basically discovered this one thing by myself after getting all this advice and praying about it and reading my Bible. By the way, if you guys are Christians, I'm just going to tell you right now, go into your index in your Bible and look up the word leadership, okay? I have been doing study after study on that word in the Bible because I really want to become a better leader, because it's not something that I feel is natural, because I get frustrated at it a lot. So I'm trying to learn how to be a better leader. And while there's really, really good books out there, of course, on leadership that have nothing to do with the Bible, those are great too. But I decided I'm going to go back to basics, and I figured that there was something in the Bible about leadership. So I went to my index, and I cannot tell you how many examples of good leaders there are in the Bible for us to follow. Moses, Joshua, I mean, so many of them, and so I'm being really inspired by them right now. So I just want to tell you guys that tip. If you have a Bible at home, you might consider taking it out. But one thing that I really had to do to attract working coaches is I had to decide. I did. My coach couldn't do it for me. They can't do it for you either. I had to decide to step into the leadership role. Okay? And if you've never heard anybody say this to you before, I'm saying it to you now. Step into the leadership role. You will not attract working coaches unless you are working and posting like a leader. Okay? You have to. You will not attract leaders in your business if you have not stepped into the leadership role yourself. So, like, what does that even look like? Okay, here's what it looked like for me. All right, I had to stop depending on my leader to do everything for me. Okay, meaning if I wanted to do, attract coaches, I had to run my own coach sneak peek. I had to be the one to do webinars. I had to be the one to do coffee chats to learn about coaching, all right? I had to start my own team page, which meant naming my team, all right? I had to do my own team calls, okay? I had to decide to create my own videos on training and post them to my own YouTube channel. All right? So those were the things that I was depending heavily on from Anita. And I could see her frustration, you guys. It frustrated me when she was frustrated at me. But what that did for me was it took me out of my comfort zone, because I was very comfortable sending people to her webinars, to her coach sneak peeks, adding my team to her team page. I was doing all that for months, like probably almost a year, okay? I was doing that because I did not have the confidence in myself to run my own things. And so that is something that you have to do. If you want this business and you want to be a leader that people are following, you have to lead. You can't expect your leader to lead your team. I mean, that's not even fair. Like, they're not joining you so that you pass them off to somebody else. They're joining you because they fell in love with you. They fell in love with your personality and your quirks and your life, and and they want to relate and interact with you, And so that is what I had to do for myself. And as soon as I started doing that, like within weeks, it was short time, very short time, I started attracting business builders. Okay, and that is what has held me at Diamond for over a year. Am I at superstar or 1-star or 2-star yet? No, I'm not. Am I frustrated because of that? Yes. I am definitely frustrated that I'm not further along than where I am, but I also know that I had to allow God to do the work in me to get to where I'm at right now. So I wasn't ready. If I had stepped into the leadership role maybe too soon, and emotionally I wasn't ready to handle, leading people, I probably would have fallen flatter on my face. And I'm not perfect by any means, even still, but I felt like I had to go through this growth period to where I learned more about myself, and I learned what my weaknesses and strengths were, so that when I went to open up my team page and I started to advertise about my own team calls and started making my own training videos, that, as I did those things, I became more confident, and that confidence has just continued to shine out to tons of people, and so now when I post on my page or on Instagram, or I do, a YouTube video on training, I actually have people that are emailing me and talking to me, and people that are joining my team that are more, business builders. But it did take me stepping out of my comfort zone and stepping into a leadership role right away. Like, I wish so bad that I had done it sooner, you guys. I wish so bad that I had done it sooner. I really, really do. But we all have our own growth periods that we have to go through. And I had to go through mine, and you have to go through yours to get there. You do. But I guarantee you, today's what? Today's the 29th, I think. So today's the 29th. We have until the 30th to hit diamond to get that t-shirt, right? So if you guys are really serious about it, what I would do is let's see, what time is it? It's probably almost 10. I would create an event page right now. Like, literally, I would create an event page right now and do a wine hour tonight. Learn more about Beachbody Coaching. Join me for an hour of wine and finding out more about the business tonight. I would not wait. If you want to do a lunch chat, do it at lunchtime, whatever. But you need to do something today and not put off, especially if you're wanting to earn the t-shirt, okay? You also need to, you definitely need to be reaching out to people through private message. So you can't depend on social media, as we know, your private page, your like page. Not everyone's going to see that. So you need to be inviting to your team through private message. You have to get out of your comfort zone in this area and cold message people, okay? What I have done that works really well for me is I will go to a person's page, or I'll just scroll through the news feed, and I'll find someone that's already posting like a lot of selfies of them with their kids, or they're very positive, like posting those inspirational quotes or something like that. And I'll like them, comment on them, and then I'll go and cold invite them. So at least I'm kind of doing that engagement thing before I just cold invite to my team. But I do this every day, just like I do my cold invites to the challenge group. If you're wanting to build your team, you have to invite to your team. I mean, otherwise, no one's going to know you're looking for people. And I would start with, people that you want to spend time with. So if you have people like your best friends, sisters, maybe your mom might be a good one if she's still around with us. But people that are a little easier to talk to as you're inviting them to your team, and just let them know your family only. I would only tell your family you have a goal to build to diamond. I wouldn't tell high school friends. That might be a turnoff. But your family, you're close enough where you can say to them, I have this goal, I'm trying to hit diamond. Will you become one of my coaches so I could, do that? And then, of course, stick them into your own, Coach Basics training and see where it goes from there. You never know. Your mom could actually become a 2-star. You never know, she might be sitting at home bored and wanting something to do. So that's all I have for you guys. I think I don't have anything else. Oh, I have a couple last minute topics I wrote down, or thoughts. Can't rely on the same coaches because you never know what's going to happen with them in their life. So you always have to be bringing in new coaches. Work with the willing. That's really, really important. And then just keep sharing your team vision. You have to share your team vision until you're sick of hearing your team vision. And that's going to keep people inspired. Okay, so I'm going to go back through these questions. And go ahead and comment, you guys, if you have a question. I'm going to go back through the ones that are already here. Okay, so Jessica Bowman. Hey, what's up, girlfriend? All right, so she asked, do you get a lot of response from your Emerald leads? I have only had 4 out of 40 people respond back. Okay, so here's my thing, Jessica. Emerald leads are kind of a weird thing for me right now because I have been getting a lot of people getting Shakeology and then returning it and then me getting commissions taken back. So I've been having a hard time myself wondering, are these even real people? Are these even real leads? Should I even reach out to them? But then I keep remembering about myself. And, again, if you watch from the beginning, I was that customer that ordered off the TV from 2007 until 2014. Nobody reached out to me to thank me. And I'm telling you guys right now, if one of you had reached out to me and said, thank you for your order, I'm here for you as a coach. By the way, we have an amazing, Beachbody Coaching opportunity. If you'd like to find out more, let me know. I would have been like, what's that? Tell me about it. I'm telling you guys, it's so easy. Just keep using the same, thank you for your purchase email every single time. And you don't have to contact them a lot. I mean, just send them that first email, maybe send them a second one, like a month later if they haven't responded, and then just tell them where to find you. And they'll come to you if they need you. But at least you're doing that initial thank you. Here's how to find me. I'm here if you, need me. So hope that helps, Jessica. All right, so Sarah, la 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 la. Oh, her internet's not that good. Okay. All right, so Jessica, now I wish that I had read this as I was talking because you said not being able to get them to stick with it. I'm assuming you're talking about coaches. I'm assuming, but yeah, we all go through the same thing. So I've been on calls with 15-star diamonds and 5-star diamonds, emeralds, they all say the same thing, that they get frustrated too. People come into the business and they're super, super excited, but then they, I don't know what happens, to be honest. The only thing that I can think of is that they realize it's work and that it takes time to put the work in and they're not, as dedicated as they thought they were. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. So hopefully that helps, but we all go through that. Hey, Genevieve. Thanks for the compliment. Okay, Lori, I need to take more notes on challengers and coaches. You need to take more notes. You mean like what their goals are? I think that's what you're talking about, Lori. But yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have started to use Gmail yet, but I recently, after watching Jill Gorby's, thank you, Jill, if you're on, but after watching her training on Streak, I actually was already using Streak for seeing if they viewed my email. So I kind of felt like that was a fun, sneaky way to see who, that I sent the coach opportunity to has read the email. And what's funny is you can actually see how many times that they have read it. So for some people that have said that they're interested in coaching, but they haven't gotten back to me yet, and then I see that they've read it 50 times, you gotta know they're thinking about it. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I started to use the tracking part of Streak. And for this perfectionist right here, and a person who gets overwhelmed pretty easily. At first, when I was going through the training, and I'm still not all the way done with it because it's kind of a lot to learn. There's like a lot of videos on YouTube you gotta watch, but I'm at least to the point now where I can enter in a person's name, and I can, put their Facebook link and the notes on what we talked about, their email address if I want to email them. And so what I am loving about that is that I know, and we know, that we just don't know if Facebook is ever going to take what we're doing away from us. And the thought of that freaks me out. Like, I already hate how controlling Facebook is. I can't stand it. I get blocked at least once a month for something. And it's so annoying, that they block you, which makes you feel like you have a hard time running your business. And I hate that control factor that they have. And so what's nice is that I'm feeling like I'm starting to build a list. Now, I've been doing this for over 2 years. It's going to be hard to go all the way back, to enter, but it's going to take a lot of time. I don't know if there's an easy way for that, but I don't think there is. I think I have to do it one at a time. So I might have to hire someone or something, or just do a little bit every day or whatever. But I'm really, really liking it because I know at some point they could pull what they're allowing us to do right now away from us. So it's a good thing to have a tracking system that's away from Facebook. Okay, so Lori says, I need to get more done as the leader I am. Stop relying on you. You're so funny. Stop relying on you to do my sneak peeks and vids, and do my sneak peek even if no one is there. Yeah, I do that all the time, Lori. So if I advertise for a sneak peek or a coffee chat, webinar, whatever, even my team calls, I've actually had team calls where no one shows up. Is that a frustration as a leader? Hell yes, it is. It is, because you guys said you want this. So it's really frustrating when you don't show up to learn, and then you're over here trying to do it by yourself and you're being frustrated. Yet, if you had shown up to learn, you would have, perfected what you're doing and gotten better, where you're not feeling as frustrated as you're doing the work. So it's kind of one of those catch-22 things, but I will still do team calls. I will still do my sneak peeks. And what I'll do is I'll just record them and upload them to YouTube. So at least if someone does come along and they say, I meant to jump on, but I got busy with the kids, did you record it? Then I can give them my latest one, because I want people to see me for how I am right now, not what I looked like 2 years ago with shorter hair. So I think it's a good idea that you at least record them and then upload them into your YouTube channel and give the video to them if they missed it. So, but yeah, I would do it if no one's there, because again, that's just doing the things that a leader does. Leading even when no one's following, because they will eventually follow you, but they have to see you continuing to lead. So if they see you pulling back as a leader, they're not going to rely on you anymore to lead them. So they're going to start searching it out through different people, and they might pull back from the business even, because they might start feeling like my coach doesn't care about me. She doesn't do anything like, offer team calls, or, I'm not connecting with her ever. So that is really, really important. Yay, Sarah's back. Okay, yeah, Jessica, I'm like totally in love with Streak. I just need to spend more time on it. Okay, does anybody else have any other questions? I know if you're on the recording, you can still ask a question, and then I'll be able to come back later and answer it. So hopefully this has been helpful, talking about, stepping into the role of a leader, so that people will have you to follow. It's really, really important. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a little bit because I know sometimes when you type a question, it doesn't like pop up right away. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. You're welcome, you guys. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. I actually dreamt about this call last night. That's how much it was on my mind. Isn't that funny? And I was thinking, what am I gonna say? Like, what if what I say might hurt any of my team members' feelings? I really had to pray a lot about how I was gonna word stuff because when I get nervous, I can trip over my words sometimes. All right, let me ask you guys this. Who's going to Summit? Because I want to know from this group who I get to hug. Like, I legit want to hug everybody in this group. There's like 500 and something people in here. I just want to hug you all because all of your stories, like, I'm already a diamond, so technically I didn't really need to be in this group, but the reason why I wanted to is because I have my team members that are pushing for it, and I thought it would be a fun thing for us to do together. Again, that's something that a good leader, I think, does. But hearing from everybody's stories, I've been so completely touched by so many people's backstory. And so now I feel like I just want to hug everybody because you guys are awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I guess that's it. Okay, if you guys have any questions, just comment below and I'll be here throughout the day to answer them. But otherwise, thanks for joining and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Love y'all. Bye.